Postal here. A nice tier 8 battle. Not so nice. Got a good vampire on the enemy team. We are taking out the Spitfire 14 today. This is actually my first tier 8 plane in World of Warplanes. I got it back before specialization. I just specialized it today. So I'm taking it out mainly because I played it so freaking much when I first played this game that it's just one of those planes that I know is strong, but you know, just so many other things have come along for me to hop into and pilot that I just really don't play this plane all that much at all. And so I thought, you know what? Let's see, is this plane as good as I remember it being? Because I know it's one of those planes that you will, it's surprisingly strong. You're at tier 8 where there's a lot of jets. And so you'd think, okay, well, we're stuck here in a prop plane at tier 8 when there's a bunch of jets coming along, smacking people around. Are we going to be able to hold our own? And you know, it used to be able to. And it's got that perception that it can still do that. So is that something that it can still do? What makes this plane so strong? Well, or what used to anyway. We're going to find out today if it still is. It's a really good package. It's not an altitude fighter by any means, but it's got decent altitude. It is a really turny fighter. It's the second most maneuverable plane at this tier, right after the XIV. You've got some... Oh, hello. No, sir. Come on. You know better. You better use your jets. Oh, no. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why would you do that? Why would you do this, sir? You did it to yourself. Alright. It's the second most maneuverable plane. Certainly more maneuverable than a Vampire F1. In case you didn't know that. You have 4 20mm cannons. Yeah, they are located out on the wings rather than being centrally located like they are on the Vampire. So it is a little bit more difficult to get them on target. But at a decent range like this Hornet is, they just kind of melt down targets. So that's all very nice. It's a really well-balanced aircraft. So unlike the sighting factor it's really maneuverable, but it doesn't sacrifice everything like the Yak does. It's got a little bit better hit points, it's got a little bit better speed, it's definitely got better altitude performance. And it's got more consistent cannons. If you've ever used the British 20mm Hispanos, you know just how good these kind of cannons can be. You know, if I can get them on target here. 1 hit point. What kind of shenanigans? And yeah, I haven't flown this in a while, but it still feels just as balanced as it used to be. The other thing that this plane can certainly surprise people with is its altitude performance. You would think with a prop plane that the altitude performance and airspeed would be lacking. But the fact is this plane can actually get up to a reasonable altitude and surprise people. And it can surprise you, so be mindful of that. It can definitely do things that you wouldn't necessarily expect to do. There's that Vampire, I'm quite sure. Look at him on the map. What are you doing, sir? Oh, he's turning away. That's right. Oh, you took too long to turn away. Knocked out his engine, now he's in trouble. It's the only thing the Vampire has over me. Well, it's not the only thing. It's not true at all. In this situation, that's the thing that would save the Vampire would be its speed. So you lose your engine and life is going to hurt. Let's up and over this. Gotta not overheat the cannons. It is kind of a shame the am I gonna crash into this guy? It is kind of a shame the slots that you have for equipment do not include guns on this plane. It would be really nice. I would take like swap out an engine slot for a gun slot. on this plane if I could. There's a bomber over there. There's not a lot I can do, so I'm going to defend this sector here. Overheated my cannons there. 'Tis a shame. Looks like this game's going to be over relatively quickly, though. What is this vampire doing? This is about map awareness is OP, man. I've ran into this guy before. He's usually usually somebody that I try to pay attention to, but he's clearly not paying attention to me. Let's dive down here. Got a bomber somewhere. There it is. But it looks like the multi-role fighter is going to be my next victim. Hopefully. Oh! Alright, 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 alright. I get it. I get it. I get it. Oh, there's more people. Let's dive down here. Oh, there's another freaking multi-role. Monkeys. What are you doing here? See, he's using his airspeed. Trying to pay attention to the map. There's a lot of planes around me here. I must punish him for his insolence. So first battle in the Spitfire 14 in a very long time. Let's go into a second battle, shall we? Alright, so we've got our second battle here. What are we in against? Another Tier 8 battle. We've got an ME-109TL. I got a Key 84 I need to be mindful of. Otherwise, I can outmaneuver everything here. I can outmaneuver the Key 84 as well, but still gotta be paying attention. Alright, this map is not necessarily tailor-built towards this plane. That being said, what we'll do is we'll get the garrison first and then head there. I'm gonna try to send everybody else to the mining facility. One thing I really like about this plane, although it is comparatively slow compared to some of the other Tier 8 planes, it's still fast enough. And, you know, it's hard-hitting enough to where you can not get rammed by heavy fighters, right? Okay, good. Get from sector to sector, and since you are hard-hitting enough with 4 20mm cannons, you're able to actually do some capturing, right? If I can properly aim here, that would be super swell. There we go. The 20mm cannons definitely make a difference on ability to flip sectors and do the chunk of damage that you want to do to heavy fighters and things of that nature. Let's continue to send people that way. We've got our ground attackers going there. I feel like my plane is just going to be a better fit at the center. Spitfires from Tier 4 through Tier 8. That's where you've got your Spitfires. Actually, I think it's Tier 5 through Tier 8 now that I think about it in totality. But it doesn't matter. All the planes from Tier 4 through Tier 8, very similar in their playstyle. And it's which is one of the reasons why I recommend this plane line so often, because it's just got that consistency. You've got that ability to... I thought I killed that guy. You've got that ability to learn a playstyle and just kind of build on that rather than kind of jumping around from a turn style plane to a speed style plane. Okay. Ah, dang it. Wasn't paying attention. It's my own fault. That was my own fault. ME-109TL isn't the strongest plane in the world, but I was at pretty low health and needed to be paying attention. That plane has 2 30mm cannons and 2 20mm cannons. So we'll head right back to the center, right? Dead or alive at this point, we're going to take that center, hopefully. No, or defend it. I don't even know what's going to happen at the center. Nope, they're going to get the center. But we're going to keep pushing it. And hopefully we don't lose this battle, because if we lose this, then 109TL can go focus down our bombers and ground attackers there and stop us from capturing that. So we're going to keep sending people there. This is where our mediocre speed, it's okay speed, can come back to haunt us. Can I? Oh, they captured it. Of course, they captured... It seems like that happens to be the way of it. The capture happens as soon as you get into the sector, right? Let's go ahead and turn back around. P-47. Okay, we should be fine here. Want to try to get some shots in on this guy. Nope, I kind of wanted to get shots on him a little bit sooner than this. Gonna be a day late and $1 short. I'm on way too low of health. I am not playing this very well, am I? Don't crash into me, dude. Oh, man, we are not setting ourselves up for very good success here. It would be nice if I wasn't getting rammed by my own friendlies. So, we're in all kinds of trouble. All kinds of trouble. Alright, let's guess. All we can do is get out and try to capture sectors. Let's get this garrison over here. Luckily, we've got the mining facility for right now, but that's not going to hold for very long. As you can see, it's already basically gone. There we go. I don't care about you. You're like behind me though, aren't you? Probably not the best to be going in this general direction. But I don't have time. I just don't have time. I gotta get to this middle sector here. Don't know how long we're gonna be holding on to that mining facility for. Oh, and he changed his plane, did he? I'm sorry, sir, but I've actually got a more maneuverable plane than you. So you're probably gonna regret that. The only plane that's more maneuverable than me is going to be the XIV. Problem is, we're in an enemy-held territory, so I might have the better plane, but he's got like everybody on his team that can come and try to shoot me. So we'll kill him really quick here. Then we'll kill the ME-109TL that he's got on my tail. I'm gonna leave this guy on like no health. There we go. Cool story. Get this key 80. Oh, that's I guess key 84. I thought it was an ME-209. Yeah, that guy should have hung on to the 109TL. He needs a plane, unless he's gonna get a Yak-15, and even then, my plane's specialized. He would need a specialized Yak-15 to be able to outmaneuver me. So if he's not going to have a specialized Yak-15, he just can't outturn me. And now we've got this sector, so now he's stuck in that key 84, which means he's stuck getting his ass handed to him by me. The 109TL would have been the better option just because it's got more speed, and you can get those pot shots like he got on me when he first killed me. So he might have just lost the battle by switching to the wrong plane. I mean, not that I'm gonna complain. Squall line, though. Do need to pay attention to all the fighters, because they're definitely gonna be the ones that are coming after me, right? Got a Sea Fang inbound. It's fine. Looks like actually we're gonna win this pretty handily. It's pretty nice. I'll take it. No complaints. Yeah, you just gotta be mindful of the type of plane that you're going against. So if I was doing a better job when I died there of paying attention to the map, and I could have survived the engagement with the 109TL. Once he switched to the Key 94, though, he sealed his fate. If he had a specialized Key 94, like, he'd have a better chance. Yeah, not against Spitfire 14. You got to come both guns blazing. Let's head back. All right, so that first battle that we had here, 13 kills, 2 sectors captured. Was able to just kind of camp out there. Certainly not a bad thing. Yeah, I mean, it's Spitfire, right? So it's one of the reasons this is literally one of the planes and the reasons why I suggest this line to be a first line for new pilots playing World of Warplanes to go down. This is the, top Spitfire. There's obviously a tier 9 and a tier 10 after that, but aren't Spitfires. But you just got such great consistency from tier 4 through tier 8, and really strong planes at that. Let's take a look at the second battle. All right, that second battle, we captured 3 sectors, only 12 targets killed. But that's what happens when you die. You just got to spend another 60 seconds getting into a relevant area where you can be an impact. So it's a shame I died. I died twice. Did I die twice? I guess I died twice. Crap. So yeah, but that goes to show you, and that's the amount of points he had before he, changed his plane, right? I didn't realize they had a 288. I had another player on my team. Oh, cool. I had a TU-10. Awesome. When you're thinking about planes, this is like completely different video, but you need to be mindful of what you're up against and what your strengths are going to be against it. 109 TL would be a better plane versus me, just because you're harder hitting, and you could conceivably do like a boom and zoom kind of run, right? A Key 94 is the Key 94 is not a good option in that it's less maneuverable. It has 2 20mm cannons and 2 30mm cannons, but they're on the wings, so it's a lot of RNG based. Whereas on the 109 TL, they're centrally located, and you've got better accuracy with those guns. And so yeah, just in a straight dogfight, personally, me in a Spitfire 14 is going to come out on top against a Key 94 9 out of 10 times. He was a good pilot, though. Like that, considering I should be significantly more maneuverable than him, he was able to hang on for a little while there. But anywho, what I want to talk about really quick is we'll go into the details on how I have my Spitfire set up. But what I wanted to talk about is I've been getting this question. I get this question all the time, but I've gotten it a little bit more recently. What's a recommended line to go down? I always recommend this Spitfire line first. And the reason being is because it's just got consistency. And the Spitfires are really forgiving. You can make mistakes in a Bristol 146 through the Spitfire 14, and the plane itself will make up for some of those inconsistencies that you have. You can be a noob and still be successful with this line. That being said, it's also really good at teaching you how to be able to dogfight, but also you can leverage that to be able to, you've got just enough speed on these planes to be able to teach yourself how to do the kind of boom and zoom planes as well. Typically, this is the first line that I recommend. You've got just enough speed to be effective and a great amount of turnability. You're not going to be able to outturn Zeros. You're not going to be able to outturn Yaks, the fighters, not the multi-role fighters, obviously, you can outturn. A lot of the key, basically Japanese fighters, you're probably not going to be able to outturn. But that's okay. The strength of this plane is they're really good turn fighters. You just need to know what you can't outturn. And then they're very heavy hitting for their tiers. And they're just well balanced. And that well balanced approach, I think, allows a lot of new pilots to be able to kind of feel out the game. If you were in a complete turn fighter, all you would learn is being able to outturn things. If you go down the Zero line or the Yak fighter line, that's all you're going to learn. If you go down like a heavy fighter line, you're going to, new to the game, you're going to try to outturn things and you're going to fail because it's not what they're meant to do. And you're not going to learn the nuances of the game. Yeah, you might end up playing nothing but heavy fighters later in your career on World of Warplanes, but that's not how you want to learn to play the game. I think the Spitfire line is really good at that, being able to teach you both aspects. Another really good line, but I don't necessarily recommend it for new players, is the German fighter line, your BF-109s. The problem with the BF-109s is once you get past tier 5, like, it really gets skill-based on those planes. The BF-109F at tier 6 and G to a lesser extent at tier 7 are relatively weak with their armament, and so you really need to be a good pilot to be strong in a BF-109F. The G gets a 30 millimeter cannon, although it's short range, and the ME-209, that plane has a sniper cannon. So you've got like these different kinds of, like, you start off with really strong, up to tier 5, like well balanced, hard hitting, reasonably maneuverable, but certainly speedy planes, and then it just kind of the play style kind of bounces around a lot, and then you end up at tier 9 and tier 10 with 2 great planes, but you've got to go through 3 tiers of kind of oddness. Not that these planes are bad. Well, the BF-109F's not that good, but not that these 6, 7, and 8 are bad. It's just they're not new player friendly. Spitfire line is certainly friendly, just in the fact that these planes all play exactly the same. You get better guns as you go up. You get a little bit better maneuverability. You get better engines. Yada yada yada. You get more hit points, but the play style is basically the same. And so what it helps you do is just kind of reinforce your process. And understand the game a little bit better. By the time you get to tier 8, you've been playing enough where, okay, once you get to the Spitfire 14, sure, hop around, go into the BF-109 line. I recommend the German heavy fighter line's a really good starter heavy line. Start branching out a little bit once you've started playing heavies for a little while, then branch out to multi-role fighters. Multi-role fighters I recommend doing after fighters and heavy fighters, simply because multi-role fighters fit a niche that you need to know everybody's role on the battlefield, so that way you know your strengths and weaknesses. Multi-role fighters are inherently, technically, the weakest plane on the battlefield, but the flip side of that is they're actually could be conceivably the strongest plane on the battlefield. But you need to know, what do I outturn? What do I outspeed? When do I need to drop my bombs or rockets? When do I need to go to this sector? There's so much going on with multi-role fighters that you can't just typically hop into them, especially at the mid to upper tiers. Definitely the upper tiers. You can't just go into them and just kind of wing it. No pun intended. That's something we can talk about in a future video. But I just wanted to showcase this great plane. The plane is still great. Really solid plane. And the planes that lead up to it can be very solid as well. You just need to be mindful of those heavy fighters. They'll boom and zoom on you, hit you and run. So how do I have this plane set up? Well, like I said, I literally just specialized it before the first battle today. So this is my second battle, 2 whole battles. It was specialization. I recommend, before you specialize it, build it for maneuverability. The Spitfire planes, yeah, they are actually relatively speedy for turn fighters, but that's not their niche. You're not going to outspeed the Mustangs or the BF-109s. You're just not going to, or the MiG line. And so that's not what you want to lean on. You don't want to remove your maneuverability to get a little bit of speed before you specialize it. Before you specialize it, lean in on your maneuverability. You're not going to be fast anyway. So, leverage that maneuverability that you've got. So I recommend lightweight wing frame and lightweight power unit if you've got that available. Personally, I use gyroscopic sight on all the fighters for the Spitfire line. That's just my thing. I want to make sure the guns are hitting. There are some other options, but that's up to you if you want to use those. This is my particular setup. Once I specialized it, this is actually the same exact setup that I've got on the on my Mustang line. It's the same exact setup that I've got on the Lavochkin line. And it's, once I specialize it, I do half speed and half maneuverability and leverage that way. So my maneuverability on the Spitfire 14, now I haven't fully maxed it out, but my turn time's at 8.1 seconds, 94 overall maneuverability. My airspeed's at 63. So certainly a jump up on both of those from the base impact. I mentioned it earlier in the video. I would personally prefer one of these 2 items be a forward-firing weapon slot, whether it be polished skin or uprated engine, and change that into like gas-operated action or something like that would be wonderful. That being said, the guns aren't terrible. You saw the biggest issue I have with them is sometimes I'm not aiming properly, so I'm missing my shots, or sometimes I'm holding on the trigger too long and they're overheating, which can be very frustrating when you're trying to kill something quickly. But I mean, trigger control is something you gotta learn it. And the fact these are 20 millimeter cannons, it's not like they overheat significantly quickly. That's really on postal for holding on the trigger for too long. My consumables, now that it is specialized, I've got, the full complement of consumables here. First aid package is what I go with all my fighters. Even if they're fighters that catch on fire all the time, this one doesn't catch on fire all the time. So there's really no purpose for me personally to be putting a something like the fire extinguisher on here. At that point, it's a waste of a consumable in my hands, at least. I'd rather get my pilot gets knocked out from time to time. I'd rather put my pilot in. As far as airframe is concerned, pneumatic control assist is the way to go to start off with, for sure. Once I have the airframe consumable upgraded from specialization, I've put the emergency control system. Now, I did get my tail and my wings knocked out a couple times in these two battles. So the emergency control system actually came in very handy, so that's nice. Glad specialization. But the pneumatic control assist is one of those things that you hang on to it when you accidentally get yourself stuck into a dogfight with a yak or a zero. Then you can hopefully leverage that to actually get come out on top. If you're against a human that's in a zero or a yak, they probably have pneumatic control assist as well, and then you're probably SOL, but it's just better to have it and try to get yourself out of a situation, get yourself to be able to turn better for 10 whole seconds. And, I've had that save me quite a few times. Engine cooling, it's a must for this plane. That extra 10 seconds of boost that you have, I typically use it to try to get to a sector that I need to get to as quickly as possible, whether it's to defend that sector or attack that sector. Sometimes I'll use it if I'm at mid-altitude and I want to go up to a high altitude to have a one-on-one engagement versus a heavy aircraft or some high-altitude fighter like a Mustang or a BF-109. I'll utilize the engine cooling for that to get me to that altitude quicker than they realize I can get and attack them. I only do that in a one-on-one situation. It would be completely asinine to try to go, from mid-altitude to where there's 3 heavy fighters and fighters, enemy aircraft up high. You're setting yourself up to die because, you might get up there quickly and take on one, but now you're in a high-altitude situation where your airspeed and maneuverability are going to be negatively impacted, and you've got these other 2 aircraft or 1 aircraft that you've got to go against, and you're just not built for that. You're built for mid to low-altitude dogfighting. If you're going to be going to high altitude, it can be done, but make sure you know what you're doing and you're aware of your surroundings so you can come out on top in those situations. Universal ammo, because why not? I've got the credits for it, and if it helps my ammunition hit, then so be it. And last but not least, so my pilot here, this is an 8-point pilot. I highly recommend, especially once you specialize the plane, aerodynamics expert. It helps all the aircraft's maneuverability and speed equipment. It buffs it by 40%, so that's great. Aerobatics expert, you get an extra 2% on all your maneuverability on all axes. That's excellent. Personally, I've gone for Marksman 1 and then Engine Guru 1 on this particular plane. Once I do get my 9th point, I'm probably going to switch to Marksman 2 simply so that my cannons are hitting more often than not. You've got a lot of flexibility with this plane, almost too much flexibility when it comes to the skill points. There's a lot of different skill points here that could be incredibly useful for the Spitfire, and I wouldn't berate you for picking any one of these. Resilience is an excellent one. Another one that I don't think gets used very often but is great for dogfighting fighters is Evasive Target. Raptor Strike, it's usable, but it's not necessarily something I'd want to spend 3 points on this particular plane. Raptor Strike's going to be better for heavy fighters. Adrenaline Rush, though, is a very good one for Spitfires. Again, it's probably something that I would use once I'm getting above 10 points. Any of the special pilot skills, but if you happen to get those sooner rather than later, there's that's to your discretion, of course. And there's a Battle Tested is also really good for dogfighting type fighters, keeping yourself alive in those types of situations. So everything I just spoke about in regards to the Spitfire 14 is relevant with the Spitfire 9, the Spitfire 5, the Spitfire 1, to a slightly lesser extent the Bristol 146. All those planes from Tier 4 through Tier 8. Technically, everything I just talked about is also relevant on the attacker at Tier 9. One of the most, I don't know if beloved would be the right word, but it's certainly an enjoyable and highly sought after Tier 9 fighter, the attacker. Everything that I just spoke about the equipment setup, about the thought process when you're engaging enemy aircraft and setting up your pilot, that's relevant for all those tiers. And again, this is why I recommend the Spitfire line, the British fighter line, as a new pilot line to go down. It simplifies the engagements. Is this the best line in the game? No, it's not. Is it a great line? Yeah, it's a fun line, and it can set you up for long-term success in World of Warplanes, just by teaching you the different aspects of the game. You're not learning just how to be a turn fighter, although you are certainly learning how to do that. You do have the ability to do other things as far as altitude is concerned and airspeed is concerned, and it is a gateway to those other types of fighters, which will be a gateway to heavy fighters, which will open the door to multi-role fighters. And so, yeah, I think this line is definitely my most recommended line for new pilots. If you're trying to learn ground attackers and bombers, well, you're not going to learn that on multi-role fighters or heavy fighters or fighters anyway. It's just a completely different play style. And yeah, it's a different discussion for a different day. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. I know it wasn't like the world's best gameplay, but I mean, sorry. Spitfire 14 is still incredibly strong, though. I'm glad to hear that. My first tier 8 plane in the game. First plane I got 5 marks in, which can tell you how much I've played it since I got 5 marks, since I still have 5 marks. And yeah, probably something that I should probably be playing a little bit more, just because it is a lot of fun to go out there, and it's it's a nice looking aircraft too, quintessential, right? I just like the wing design, right? Aesthetics. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.